Hello everybody, my name is Will and welcome back to Sprocket, and today we're going back to the poll that we ran for the last video because there was another idea in there that I really thought was going to be good fun, and technically it wasn't the second most selected tank. I'm sorry those of you who voted heavy APC. I promise I tried. It didn't go well. Look, some tanks don't make the cut. That was the one. That was just, it was not working. We're getting an Australian tank instead. Now, Australian tank enjoyers out there, you lot, I don't know if you're Australian or if you're just a fan of Australian tanks, but a lot of you seem to think the Australians made the Bob Semple tank. I'm afraid to burst your bubble, that was New Zealand. Australia has a little bit higher standards than the Bob Semple tank, I'm afraid. They built the AC-1 Sentinel. If you've not seen that thing, go give it a Google right now, because our tank is going to be extremely reminiscent of it, to the point where it's basically it's probably the closest thing to a replica I've ever made on this channel, to be entirely honest. There's a couple of differences, namely that I built this thing a little bit too small. By a little bit too small, I mean quite a lot too small, but there you go. It happens, you know? Yeah, I could have made it bigger, but already having enough troubles with the symmetry, starting to complain about the level of detail I was putting into certain sections of the hull and how close some bits were and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it was for the best that I moved on. But regardless, we got there in the end. And to be fair, some of my hulls, you know, sometimes I get to a point and it starts kind of having faces that are inside the actual tank, and that kind of breaks the geometry a little bit and gives you either less internal space or inverted faces that think they're on the inside when they're on the outside. Blah, 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 blah. We don't have any of that. This has gone smoothly. It's quite a nice hull. So if you want this thing, the file will eventually be in the tank repository channel of my Discord in the description of the video. I say eventually because I just always forget, man. It's like every single time I forget, and you lot remind me. Sometimes you remind me while I'm in work or somewhere else where I can't do it, and that is the most distressing time to be reminded. But no, it will be there eventually. Maybe you want to cut a hole in the top of it and make it like a little infantry fighting vehicle kind of dealio. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I really like the AC Sentinel. It's a fun tank designed by a nation who didn't really have too much tank pedigree. So the fact that they made something that looks somewhat competent, I think, is probably a fair word to describe it as. It's quite impressive. Obviously spurred on by a fear that Australia would be invaded by Japan during World War II. Something that didn't end up happening, but it was definitely a concern for a while because they were in the Indies, which, you know, they're not too far away from Australia. So there was a reason for this tank to exist, and for that matter, the fact that it was built a little bit in the era where it was somewhat outdated, but it was still a fairly decent design. It probably would have done its job against the Japanese designs because it wouldn't have had to fight things like the Taiga or things like the... I don't know, the rest of the tanks are really allied. The Taiga's probably the main one that it wouldn't have been able to deal with, because I think in real life the only version that they made had a 40mm, the kind of very early anti-tank gun used by the Commonwealth forces throughout the war. There was a prototype version, I believe it's only a prototype, that had a 17-pounder gun. That would have been more than capable of punching through pretty much anything that existed during World War II, but as far as I'm aware, it wasn't built. I could be corrected in that matter. It could well have been built, but I don't think it was. So we're going to be upgrading this tank throughout the video. So spoilers, that gun, the 76mm gun, may just be making an appearance later on. So if you want to see that, then, you know, stick around. Or use the chapters, which I now have in the video. You can see that we're currently in the building chapter because we're building the tank right now. It makes sense if you think about it. But Oh, goodness me. I'm losing my mind again. This always happens, I swear. Where are we? Yes, Hull is nearly done. And this is a complex shape, Australia. Can you build simpler tanks? There's a lot of weird little just angles and shapes, and the way that the area the turret sits in is kind of lower down than the area where the driver and the engine are. I'm sure there's good reason for it, but it makes it more difficult to model in the 2000 game. 2000? No, this game wasn't released in 2000. 2020. Oh god, was it already 2021 that this game came out? Oh, I don't really know. But yes, you know the joke I'm going for. Let's just move on. Yes, here I'm using a kind of custom modeled suspension. I think the type of suspension that this tank used is a form of leaf spring. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but it's got these kind of interconnected road wheels with the return rollers also attached to these 3 suspension arms, and that's something that I kind of wanted to capture with this thing. And the HVSS that we have in Sprocket kind of it sticks out a lot. Is one of the problems I have with it. You know, it's kind of neat, but it does end up poking out the side of the tracks quite aggressively, which is not the vibe. And now I'm building everybody's favourite part about the Sentinel tank. It's time for the dongus. Yeah, it's got a dongus on the front of it. Everybody laugh it out of your system now. The machine gun port looks like this. Yes, it does. I joke, but it is quite funny. They've got one of these things down at the Bovington Tank Museum, actually, and I've seen it up close and in person. I think it's in a kind of yellowy desert camouflage, which is a similar scheme to the one that I go with in this video. You will have already seen it in the thumbnail, but yeah, it's a cool looking tank. However, that little machine gun cowling is an interesting choice, I've got to say. And I did, yes, when I saw this tank in real life, I touched it. Of course, you have to touch the dongle. It's vitally important to anybody who sees an AC1 at any point in their life. And any of you who are watching this, perhaps with parental supervision, I am grimly apologetic for that. But there's no other way to describe it. I'm sorry. It's the elephant in the room. It has to be mentioned. There's no way around it. And it's going to get worse as well, because I also put one as the cowling for the machine gun in the turret as well. So there's two dongles on this tank. Oh, man. Oh, dearie me. Australia, why? Why did you do it? I mean, it's funny. I get it, but... They must have known. They must have known while they were building it. There must have been someone in the factory who was like, you know what, mate? These looks a little bit suspicious. And apologies to any Australians who are watching this video for that attempted Australian accent there. That was not great. Once again, it's an Australian video. At some point in the video, I had to do a bad Australian accent. It's a great accent, and I've just got to try. Man, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that one, I think. And there we go. Look, I tried with a normal mantlet because they're a little bit quicker, but nope, it doesn't look the part. So it's custom mantlet time, baby. And if you don't know how to do a custom mantlet, there is a YouTube short tutorial on my channel on how to do oscillating turrets. And the way that you do oscillating turrets is exactly the same. Well, that's not good English. Is exactly the same method as an oscillating turret. Did I say that the right way around? Custom mantlet, same method as an oscillating turret. There you go, that's definitely correct. So basically, you've got your main turret, which rotates horizontally, and then you put another turret, which is 90 degrees to that, which can aim up and down, and that will do your vertical traverse for your gun, with your turret obviously doing the horizontal part of it, so you can limit your mantlet that you still need to put on the tank to 0 degrees of rotation, both vertically and horizontally, but, you know, regardless, the gun's locked to the second turret, and it works. It works as an aiming method, and it's pretty smooth, to be honest. And here goes the custom mantlet now. So it's kind of a cast looking thing. Cast is something I struggle with in this game, to be entirely honest. It's a very kind of I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about it that is really hard to replicate the intricacies, there we go, of a cast piece of armor, and that definitely shows itself with this design. I do think it's a fairly decent looking tank in the end, but yeah, there's definitely some issues with it in the sense of just kind of not 100% looking like what I'd like it to. I think it gets a lot better from this point as well. The point you're currently seeing it is a kind of first draft of the turret. It doesn't change the overall shape very much, but the actual details of it go up quite a lot, as well as the hull. These like little driver's ports and the driver's hatches, they get bigger, just because they do look a little bit silly small at the moment. So there's some things that change about this one, and there we go, there's our second dongus going on the turret there, which does add quite a lot to it, actually. I think it's probably one of my favorite custom mantlets I've done. Maybe not the best in terms of overall appearance, but in terms of feeling like it fits the theme, it's pretty good. And there, I forgot to limit the traverse on the actual gun. And also, I happen to have mounted this gun mantlet wrong, actually. But we don't talk about that. It's fine. I never make mistakes, I swear. Apart from all of those times when I do. But you can see here, 40mm gun we're starting with, the early kind of, you know, anti-tank rifle of the Commonwealth. It's a solid tank-busting weapon. Only about 80mm of penetration, but that's plenty for this kind of era. But yeah, the design's pretty much done here, so some things that I don't include in this are just putting the livery on and doing the armor scheme, because it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing when it's at 4 times speed, but thickest armor on this early version is 80mm, so you can take my word on that one. It's surprisingly thick, actually, for an early war tank. And here we have our tank for today. So, I think it's pretty clear what the inspiration for this thing is. Yeah. I even modelled the weird machine gun port that Australia put on this thing for some reason. Sadly, we still don't have functioning machine guns, because that would have been extremely funny. But yeah, we've got the standard AC-1 armament of a 40mm pop-pop cannon. Okay, so here we go. We've got 9 friendlies here, so hopefully we don't struggle too much. Why is my guy not moving? Okay, well, he won't get himself in trouble, I guess. We've got one tank who's not moving, which isn't going to be much use. Now, oh no. Can we not get over the rail? Oh no, really? Okay, he's made it. We've made it. Okay, we're fine, we're fine. I was a little bit worried for a second. In the meantime, however, we've done all right. That's already 3 guys down. We haven't seen the H2s in a long time. I genuinely didn't think they were in the game anymore. Okay, we got a man of war pushing up on our left. Let's see what we can do from this spot here. Not a lot, because our gun depression is not enough. Huh? That's weird. I definitely gave it 10 degrees of gun depression, but for some reason I have 0. So, we'll fix that for next level, but for now, we're just going to have to deal with it, I guess. Which should be okay, in theory. There's plenty of hills. We can aim ourselves down. We also need gear to get out of neutral, because we really struggle to get going on hills. Who is left? No? Maybe? Yep, okay. Ah! That'll be him over there, I reckon. There we go. I don't think those guys could fire. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's see how we do on Silent Border. Okay, issue with the gun depression is resolved, and I think we're mobile enough that I'm probably just going to try the old run across the center and hope that nothing shoots me kind of strategy. Which is typically a solid plan. Just hope that the enemy won't shoot back. That's, you know, it works most of the time. So, to be honest, it's mostly because I can't see anything, and now the Allen actually pushes up. It kind of makes more sense to just try and get past them all before he can get into a position to kill every single one of my tanks, and so far, so good. Let's try and not get stuck here. I haven't actually fixed the gearbox, which I said I would. Hi, friend. Yep, he is very much... He's got my bead here. Ah, there we go. That's not paid off. Hopefully... Oh, my lord, that was close. Hopefully... okay. Oh, no. Buddy's got stuck on the tank traps. What is he doing? Oh, Buddy's actually got the AT gun. He fired so many shots. Oh, gosh. I wish the AI would not just drive over these tank traps. It's, yeah, it's not the most convenient, to be honest. Oh, okay. We got to flank the Allen. We need to build up a little bit of speed before we get over this hill, ideally. But we should, in theory, be quick enough to do it. You can see his traverse is pretty poor. And there we go. We've already gone through. We just actually have to, you know, go through enough to do any damage. There we go. Ah, okay. We're going to have to give this thing a better gun as we go forwards. And maybe we'll give it a little bit of more armor as well. But we're having some troubles with this thing, to be honest. Okay, here we are fighting the Taiga, and we have a slightly bigger engine with the upgrades that come with going to the newer era. We have quite a fair whack more armor on the front of this thing, and we have a 57mm rather than a 40mm cannon, though this 57 is not going to leave anybody particularly impressed with its firepower. We only have about 100 mil of penetration, which is only just enough to go through the side of the turret of a Taiga 2. But what is that? Is that even a Taiga 2? It is. He's trying to push up to us for some reason. I've never seen him move before, and he's not paying much attention to me at all. Hello? Okay, that went well. Okay, fields could be interesting here, I'm not gonna lie. 57mm gun, 125mm of penetration, now that I've given it a little bit of a longer shell, which is enough to go through the front of a Taiga, but it's going to be a little bit rough, I think. Light tanks shouldn't be too much of a problem. We have a very quick reload, as you can see, but yeah, those heavies, they could be something to worry about. Okie dokie, light tanks on our left here. I think we got the halibars. Now these ones are quite amusing because when they stop, they do an endo, which is always good fun, but also they are extremely easy to take out. So all we need to do is actually have a turret that can keep up with them. There we go, and we shouldn't struggle too much with these ones. These are... Look at them go. I love how aggressive the brakes on them are. That's another one we can take out. Right, I'm going to leave that last guy up to my allies, and I'm going to move down into the ravine, because in theory, my guys shouldn't struggle to take him out. Okay, I'm not filled with confidence by the fact that he's still alive, to be entirely honest. I think we may have to take manual control here. Right, where is that halabar? There he is, and there he goes. This looks promising. There we go. I think these things aren't actually firing. I think the AI's got confused with my gun. So it may just be 1v7 here, effectively, but they're going to prove as distractions, at least, which is the least you can expect, I guess. Uh-oh. That's not good. I don't think we're going to go through that angle there. We might try... Oh no, I've taken out his track as well. That's not ideal. Oh, just went through somewhere that was only 100 mil on the turret. Nice. We still only had 112 of pen, so I'm glad that actually went through. There's definitely no guarantee. Oh, no. Okay. We need to work a little bit quicker here. That was 2,000 millimeters of armor somehow. There he goes. We got the ones on the hill as well. I think those are going to be the next ones to take out, really. Side shots shouldn't be too much of a difficulty to go through, even at this kind of a range. There we go. Which leaves just 3 lads. This guy over here. There he goes. This guy over here. Nope, no luck. No, still no luck. There we go. And this fella at the bottom. And... oh. Come on. Here we go. Yes! That was surprisingly efficient, given that I was the only one doing anything there. I'll take it, though. Why not? However, now, Taiga. That's going to be a challenge. We're going to need quite the upgrade. Okie dokie, so... big upgrades have been done. We have a bigger turret now, just to allow for a bigger gun. We have a 76mm cannon with about 170mm of pen, which isn't amazing, but it should be enough. The armor is also still not fantastic, especially on the turret, but we are just straight up out of space inside this thing. So, yeah, the hull is alright, but the turret not the best, so yeah, we're probably not going to be relying on bouncing anything here, but that's okay. Whatever we are fighting, hopefully we can flank. That's going to be our biggest chance, I think. A little bit spooked, to be honest. AMX 158s, however, they're pretty easy to take out, and if I can, I would like to do so at this kind of a range. There we go. I was expecting that to only take 1 shot, but it took 2, but that's not the end of the world. There's an IS-122. That's actually killed him, which, to be honest, I was not expecting. And another AMX for 3 already taken out, which is going unusually well for the start of Taiga. Normally, it goes horribly wrong at this point in time. And that IS-122 has avoided my shot, but we've got another chance here. There we go, and I mean that one's also not seen me, so I'll take the opportunity. We've gone through, not done any actual damage though. That time we did it. Already just 1 left. Those are the IS-122s. There's no one over there. Where's this last enemy got to then? Not over here either. My allies aren't shooting anything, but then again, we don't know if it... Oh, there he is. Yeah, I should really investigate whether my AI are actually working. But, half the fun is doing it myself, so, even if they're not shooting, let's see how we do on defense. 15 of us on this mission, which is a fair amount, even if they're not shooting at anything. Means the enemy might shoot them rather than me. 9 of the enemies to take out here, which means we are going to run out of ammo in the turret, at least one of our shell types. Super Cromwell, no problem at all to kill those things. They have no armor. Always a very, very good thing to get on this mission, I think. Boom, there we go. And let's just keep the shots going here. That's a Centurion. A little bit more armor, but not on the sides. Super Cromwell, there we go. Can we get a sight of this guy as he drives past? Just about, there we go. Oh man, this is a slaughter right now. There's another Super Cromwell, another Centurion. And there's the last guy there. Yep, alright. This is surprisingly effective, actually. And very, very small as well. I've built it quite a lot smaller than the real AC tanks were, so I mean, if we just get a demonstration of the size here. Yeah, we are absolutely teeny tiny. So we've packed quite a lot of a punch in a very, very small tank here, so hey, I mean, maybe they should have just built the AC way smaller. No human being would probably fit in this thing, but I'm always really bad at judging the actual scale of my tanks while I'm building them, but well, who cares? It still looks good, even if it's a little bit small. Just pretend it's a bit bigger. It's fine. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, comment, and/or subscribe, so that you can see me when I do other things like this, which should be coming very shortly. But without any further ado, I won't keep you any longer, and I will say goodbye! And as always, a huge thank you to this channel's patrons: Badger Burner, Potato Cam, Jam135, Cody N, DJ Pete, Skavunga, Massa929, Sad Cat, Just a Casualty 661, Lester 11, Mark Wildly Invested, Nicholas K, Rule Sosbach, Ryan Brody, the Kinesian Emperor, Zara Scheiman, Zeit Wolverine. Thank you very much for the support.